Okay, oil prices dropped this Wednesday as traders were cautious ahead of potentially gloomy manufacturing data and an annual meeting at Jackson Hole where heavy hitter central bankers, including from the United States, will talk interest rate. Brent crude was down 51 cents to $83.52 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $79.15 a barrel, down 49 cents. Markets await hints on the outlook for interest rates when Federal Reserve officials and policymakers from the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, and the Bank of Japan head to Jackson Hole for an annual meeting later this week. And still on commodities, gold prices gained on Wednesday after a slight pullback in U.S. Treasury yields, underpinned gold above a key $1,900 level as investors await clues from major central bankers on whether the end of their monetary tightening cycle was imminent. Let's now see how other commodities are trading around the world. And now Asia markets mix as investors assess private business activity, reports from Australia and Japan. For now, on a global market, let's join Bosede Abel, who is already standing by to give us details of how the market is faring across the world. Bosede, please give us an update. Bosede, you can keep us up to speed.
Thank you very much, Benny. Globally, investors focused over California-based chip designer Vida's result to see how it performs against high Wall Street expectations after its stellar first quarter, with analysts expecting volatility in the stock. However, stock futures in the U.S. climbed Wednesday as investors awaited quarterly results from chip giant Nvidia. Traders also tried to regain their footing following a mixed session Tuesday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average topped 0.17%, S&P 500 0.27%, and Nasdaq Composite also appreciated 0.40%. European stock markets were higher Wednesday, with attention focused on earnings and central bank commitments in the U.S. DAX rose 0.38%, FTSE 0.88%, and CAC 40 of France also appreciated 0.23%. Asia stocks were mixed on Wednesday as investors accessed private business activity surveys from Australia and Japan, as well as inflation figures from Singapore. Japan's Nikkei 225 was in positive territory as it climbed 0.48% across 32,010.26. The Hang Seng Index topped 0.31% across 17,845.92, while the Shanghai Composite dipped 1.34% at 3,078.40. Now for Africa, most stocks closed bearish, like Namibia and Tunisia stocks, while South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 rose 0.57% at 68,185.13 basis points. That's the market situation for today, Wednesday, which is the midweek of trading. Over to you, Benny.
Thank you very much, Abosede. And back to the issues of the day, talking about our conversation. The federal government recently announced 5 billion naira palliative to each of the 36 states to cushion the effect of the removal of petroleum subsidy. This has continued to generate public opinion on how these interventions will get to the targeted population, especially the poor and vulnerable. And so our focus on Business Express today is on the post-subsidy interventions and economic growth. Our guest is Engineer Kailani Mohammed. He is an engineer, a journalist, a publisher, and APC chieftain. You are welcome to Business Express. But before we go into the conversation proper, let's get to see this background report as put together by our agriculture correspondent, Musa Baba Aliu.
Nations are required to keep at least 8% of their annual harvest in case of emergency, such as disaster, war, and other environmental factors. The food from reserve, if released, can also stabilize prices in case of scarcity and high inflation in the country. This is the wisdom behind the federal government's establishment of silos like this in strategic locations in the country. It is in this regard that the federal government announced the release of tons of assorted food items to cushion the effects of food inflation in the country. This was during the National Economic Council meeting in July this year. Some state governors have confirmed to the NTA that they have received some trucks of maize and rice, even though the food items were not released through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has earlier announced. For instance, Osun State confirmed the receipt of 4 trucks carrying 2,400 bags of assorted food. Officials from the state disclosed that they are awaiting another 600 bags from the federal government. Similarly, Borno State have received and even commenced distribution of the food items. Other states such as Niger, Kebbi, and Bauchi have constituted committees to look at ways the palliative will be distributed.
Then what we are doing now, providing palliatives to Nigerians, will never solve our problems. Because these are shorter-term solutions. We must look for medium and longer-term sustainable solutions that will address the problem of insecurity, problem of food insecurity in Nigeria.
The National Economic Council in August this year also announced the release of 5 billion naira to each state of the Federation and the FCT. The money, part of it is a loan, is to be used.
You're welcome to Business Express, Engineer Mohammed Kailani.
Thank you.
Okay, great. To start with, part of the interventions to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal is the 5 billion naira maize, rice and fertilizers being distributed to states. Some states have already received their consignment, some are yet to. How do you see the gesture, looking at also the timing and the quantity? What's your opinion?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. President for quickly releasing this money to the state governors. Nigerians are actually in hardship, they are in pains. Though the removal of subsidy is good for this country, it has been long overdue. All we are saying, these palliatives must reach the downtrodden as soon as possible. It's not Uhuru. It's no more business as usual as the governors have been doing. We also, from the Confederation of all AFC support groups of Nigeria, we have set up committees to also monitor all these governors. If you could remember, Nigerians, what happened during the COVID-19?
COVID-19, yes.
What happened that time was they gave out all these grains and even the money, palliatives. It didn't go down to the masses. That was how we saw Nigerians even breaking into these silos and the rest of it. Today, this is a different ball game. This is a different government. We monitor them to the latter to make sure that all these grains and for example, this 5 billion, it may not be enough. But why can't these governors give out loans to people, either 2 million, so that these people now can go into farming, some go into businesses, and we are happy that these silos have been opened. We know we have some in Kaduna and Ibadan, but so far so good. We put phone calls across the nation before I came here. Up to now, these grains have not reached the masses. We are calling on these governors to sit up.
Okay, let me hold your thoughts there. Yes, some have received, distribution have started like in states like Borno State, Niger, and several others. Now, the bone of contention that might just be delaying this distribution is the process of implementation of this intervention. How do you identify the poorest of the poor amongst us? What register are they using? This is because in time past, politicians have often been accused of hijacking the process. And as a politician, the you that I know, and as a grassroots mobilizer from way back, what processes do you think should be adopted to ensure that it does not just get to the people who should benefit, but on time?
Left for me, if the government had asked us, we could have told them to do it through the party machineries. We have our people right from the polling unit, where the poor of the poorest are resident, the wards, the local government, and at the state levels. These people are on ground, but since they are giving the governors and they said they have set up committees, we want to know how they are identifying the vulnerables in the society. But as I told you earlier, we are monitoring them. Our people are down there, they are waiting, and they are delaying. People are dying. This is our government. We don't want the government to fail. They must do something quickly so that these grains will reach the masses. This money the federal government released should reach the masses. I don't know. We hope, since the cabinet has been formed yesterday and also the ministers are on ground, We believe the ball has been set rolling. And we have, for example, Mr. Thomas, the list of the vulnerables in the society. We hope the governors will contact the support groups that facilitated in bringing this government.
Okay, but that is the challenge with the whole process. Like you're saying, could have been done a party way. If it went that way, you also understand that it's not just about APC. You have other parties involved. How would they have also benefited? Is it using their structures? But that is not even to say, because that's not the way it went. But as regards monitoring, you said, yes, your people are on ground and are monitoring this distribution.
Yes.
While we enjoy what government has put down for us, or government is distributing today, what's your call to the private sector, wealthy individuals? How would they complement in ensuring that people living in their vicinities, in their catchment areas, get to benefit from support such as this?
You see, let me answer the first question. This is an inclusive government. That's why today you can see people from Labour, people from PDP, they are in this government. Okay? Because after election, we are all Nigerians. So all the goodies must come properly to all Nigerians. And that's why if it goes through the party, all and sundry will be taken along. And I don't think there will be any problem, because the president has already set the ball rolling by bringing in all other parties into his cabinet. So I don't think there's any problem there. On the issue of good people or philanthropists in the societies, this is their time. I saw somebody in Bida, in Kaduna, and other parts of the country. Recently, they roll out their own grains and brought the prices down. If others can do it, Nigeria will be a better place. We should be our brothers' keepers, because this is the time that, believe you me, sincerely, Mr. Thomas, the fillers we are receiving...
It's Mr. Benny.
Mr. Ben, what we are receiving from the fields, people are dying. We have records. And it's all about starvation and hunger. So I am calling also on Dangote. Dangote is the richest man in Africa, and he's from Kano. Let him also roll out BOA. All these rich people should support the government. They should bring out money and support the government so that Nigerians can feed well. And without food, when the stomach is empty, you know you have a problem. Then, you know, we were supposed to discuss about
the refineries. My question was the refineries, our refineries coming back on stream. I know you were staff of Kaduna Refinery. What's happening to Kaduna Refinery? When should we expect it back on stream as well as others?
Quickly, because you say we just, anytime you want to call me here, I'll make it 1 hour or 2 hours so that I'll have enough time to talk. Okay. You see, on the issue of Kaduna Refinery, only the last government with the chief operating officer of NNPC, Mr. Melikari, they were in, in South Korea, and they brought in Daewoo. Daewoo is now, I think what they are doing is BOT, build, operate, and transfer. So as they are doing that, we know the last time I traveled to Kaduna, machineries.
Okay,
for
Engineer Kelani, yeah. I've just been told that for want of time, we have to wrap the discussion, but I think this is a conversation that is ongoing. This is your area of expertise. We will get to look at the alternative gas that has been brought into play to help transportation, as well as the state of refineries, as well as the international collaboration. You could have given me time to ensure. It's actually live, Engineer Kelani. We are going to have to discuss this. You have to come back and get some more time. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. at this particular point in time. And this is where we end Business Express for today. Business Express returns tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.